Hello and welcome to Pratik Chess Videos.
Hello listeners, today we are going to see a game between Caruana and Vidit in the year 2024 candidates round number 12. Caruana won this game in a tough fight. So let's start the game. The game started e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, the usual Italian c3, and then knight f6 is the best move, but instead of c3, short castle was played in the game. c3 is a good variation, but short castle is usually played in high level games in hand with d3. d3 and short castle are played in high level games. Now knight f6, d3, d6, and now after all this we reach a kind of slow Italian. That is not with all that gambits and stuff. So now c3. Idea is to prepare d4 as in the Ruy Lopez structures. a6 idea is b5 and now a4 idea is bishop to a2. And also preventing this b5, and the bishop has a good vacant place here where which it can use. Now bishop to e7, a7, the bishop also retreats because of the prospect of b4, so that's why. Now knight bd2, white develops naturally, short castle, h3, knight h2, and then knight g4 I think is the idea, and g4 can also come. And it's also just a waiting move preventing bishop to g4. So that's why h3 was played. Now knight e7. Common maneuver in these type of pawn structures. One idea is to prepare d5, another is to get the knight to g6 or f4. Now rook e1. White develops the rook, defending e4 so that d4 can be played, and also there's this very common maneuver knight f1, knight e3, knight d5 or f5, or knight g3, knight f5. Yep, this maneuver in the Ruy Lopez pawn structures, and here in these pawn structures is also feasible because this c3 d4 c3 d3 e4 and d6 e5 pawn structure is in the Ruy Lopez. So this is just a Ruy Lopez pawn structure, but the game is being played in an Italian. Now knight to g6 as in the plan. Now I think knight to f4 can be played, and now a5. There's a prospect of b4, b5 and queenside play. Now c6, d5 I think is being prepared here so that after white takes then black has a good center. But now bishop to b3, prophylactic move against d5. The bishop retreats so that d5 does not come with tempo. Now rook e8, defending e5, and now in these type of positions we need to break the tension. Now d4, we break the we I mean not break the tension but break the quiet in the center. So well, white breaks here with d4, and now the white owns the center if black takes, so black will obviously not take, and black plays d5 forming a pawn queue. Both sides want to capture the center, but just liquidates into some trades. Now d into e5, knight into e5, knight into e5, rook into e5, and now e into d5, rook into e1, queen into e1, and then knight into d5. So this is all very uh, apparent. And now knight f4, knight d3 is one move, and queen g5 can also be played. And now bishop to c2. Idea is queen e4, bishop e6, just developing the bishop, knight f3, developing the knight, opening the line for the bishop, queen d7. Now idea is to, I think, exchange this bishop because it's a very well placed bishop. Now after queen to d7, c4, attacking d5, making the knight go because uh, white wants some space. Now after c4, knight e7, and after knight to e7, bishop e3. Idea is rook to d1, attacking d7, bishop into e3, queen into e3, knight e5 is the idea, and then rook to d8. Now bishop into c4 is a good move. So is, I don't know, just getting the open file. But actually we don't get an open file. We just are living in an illusion because black doesn't get the file. Nor does anyone now. Queen to c5. Idea is knight to e5. White is trying to gain space, and I think before b5 prospects can be done. Now queen to c5, h6 was played. Well, stopping knight g5 so that white doesn't train black's bishop. But after h6, now b3. Now we just defend the c4 pawn. It's just good. And then queen to c7. Now idea is to play queen to d6. It's a nice idea. Yeah, queen to d6, exchanging the queens. But now rook to e1, white develops the rook. King to f8, and then rook to e3. White knight e5 is the idea, and rook to d3 can also be played, exchanging. But now king to e8. Black is just moving back and forth. Black has no plan here. Queen to h5. White is consolidating. Idea is rook into e6, winning a piece. So black wouldn't want that. That's why king f8. Wait, what? King f8, and then queen to c5. Again, he now pinning this knight. So we are just playing back and forth, and now I think knight d4 is a good threat. And then king to e8. Black wants to see if white repeats or doesn't. It's two times repetition. If white plays queen to h5, I think it's a draw, but no, white doesn't agree and plays not knight g5, g4. Actually, this repetition is many times used by grandmasters. This is a trick to increase time on the clock. Like we repeat a position two times on the board, we increase time on the clock, and then we play our move. Because this time control, it reaches move 40. It's really time scramble there. So that's why it's good to repeat moves at the end. Now queen to f4. Idea is to Infiltrate the queen into white's camp. Bishop into g4 on h5 ideas are in the air. King g2. White supports the f3 knight. Rook d7 protects the e7 knight. Rook e4 attacks the queen on f4. It's really bad for black. Actually, it's not bad for black, but it will be because after queen to d6, now queen to e3. I think the idea is to still play knight to d4 and get through the e6 bishop. But now c5 just preventing knight to d4, and I don't think there will be a prospect of knight d4 any soon. But now rook to e5, pressuring on the c5 pawn because we want the pawn as it's a weakness. And now knight to c6. This is a dubious move. Finally, black cracks. I mean, we cannot say black cracked, but finally an inaccuracy by after 33 moves of flawless play. Now, see, why is this an inaccuracy? Because now white has a nice tactic, which is rook to d5. And with rook to d5, after queen c7, here is the thing that now after queen to c7, this move can be played, which is rook into c5. And now we just win a pawn, which happened in the game. Now rook to e7, but black gets some counterplay, the e file for example. But it's nothing, but it's no counterplay, just white has to play a little bit precisely. Queen c3 attacking g7, queen d6 attacking the c5 rook, rook h5, and an accuracy which gives the advantage. And now it's just an equal position again because black now gets some prospects of a fortress with f6, and now the g7 pawn is defended, and now it's really hard to see white breaking through. Bishop g6 check, king d7, queen e3, king c8, queen b6, and then king to b8, the decisive mistake. Now, this was not a good move because now rook to c5, and now this knight is under the attack, and rook into c6 is a major threat lurking in the position. It's not a threat now, but it can be in the future. Bishop to d7, b4 idea is b5. That's the threat b5, and then this pin is pretty decisive. Queen to f4, worsening the matters with yet another mistake, and now it's just totally lost. Totally. Because now b5 comes and you just have to give a piece, there's no other way. Now bishop into g4 is, if comes, then knight g1, a into b5, and then c into b5, and it's just completely over. But now white cracked and played bishop to f5, which is a blunder and which reduces the trivial advantage of, I mean, if you put this position after b5 on the computer, or this position after c into b5, it will at least give a +4, and now it's reduced to a better position, not even significantly better, just a better position. Now white reduced his advantage, but still white is better. Bishop into f5, rook into f5, and it's not easy to defend, but that doesn't justify the mistake. But still, it was a hard move to spot. But now comes queen to c5. b5 I think is the idea. And now rook to e4. Wait, not rook to e3. Rook to e4. And then queen to d5 attacking the e4 rook, and then rook to e2, and then b5 attacking the c6 knight. Now knight into e5. Mistake. That's not good. That's definitely not good for black, because now comes knight to d4 and it's the serious breaking happen. Rook to b2, dubious move, should have retreated some other place, but it doesn't deserve a dubious move. It's not really a change, but b into a6 and then knight c6, it's definitely a dubious one, because the knight is not so great at this spot, and it's just lost. And then queen to g8 check, king a7 runs into knight b5. Knight to d8. Now black commits yet another mistake, and now it's just a matter of time. Rook d5 attacking the d8 knight, king a7, and then rook into d8. Resignation. Rook a8 is coming, knight b5 is coming, white is a whole piece up, the king is safe. It's resignation from black. Black resigned. Amazing. Just amazing. It was a crushing game. Very instructive game by Caruana. Only this there was this 2-3 instances where he made some mistakes, but overall he, well, we had a liquidation in the center, and after the liquidation this position was reached, and then it seemed it was equal, but then Caruana slowly developed his pieces and put pressure here. Now rook to e1 came, and then after many pressuring moves, black finally cracked here with knight to c6, and then white became significantly better. And then after after queen to c3, queen to d6, rook to h5, white also committed a dubious move which gave the advantage away, and but then black blundered it away with a mistake, and then white again got the advantage. Yet another mistake, and white was very easily winning, but then white somehow made a big blunder which reduced his advantage to a better position. But then black committed back to back mistakes and dubious moves which allowed white to finally win the game. Amazing game, but I think it's instructive the way Caruana just improved his position, and black had to crack. So and the lesson from this game is that in some positions which are dynamic, uh, then it calls fast play. Yeah, in it you don't have time to just develop a space advantage, develop the pieces. No, you have to attack quick. But in these type of positions which are static positions, you just apply the one rule: do not hurry, and then just slowly and steadily develop the position as Caruana did. And then your opponent, after one point, even the resilient defenders crack because of the pressuring put on the opposition. So this was the game. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell icon. Thank you.